I don't feel so good.
Hey there, quirky people. Venom Let There Be Carnage has had people really hyped. From Carnage to Shriek, fans have been excited about almost every aspect of the film. None more than the fight between the titular characters themselves. The marketing campaign of the movie has been spot on. But with the multiverse connections coming in Spider-Man No Way Home, rumors about Venom 2 have been running rampant. One of the most obvious rumors floating was about a Peter Parker appearance in the film. And ever since we heard that the film has an epic post-credit scene, those Spidey rumors became even more prevalent. That being said, the big surprise at the end of Venom was always thought to be a Spider-Man cameo. It sure sounds like a very interesting idea. It ties into the fan service Sony is known for. And it may or may not happen. I'd love it if it does happen to set up a conflict between Venom and Spider-Man for later films. But how would these heroes come to fight each other? The thing about SPUMC's Venom is that he is an anti-hero. He eats and kills people, but he is written as the protagonist of the story. People actually support him.
Good evening, Venom.
Mrs. Chen!
So, the character would not really have a quarrel with Tom Holland's Spider-Man because he is the friendly neighborhood hero. He only wants to do good, and that too without killing them. The core reason for conflict between the pair is that both Venom and Eddie blame Spider-Man for their downfall. Without that origin story to breed hate, we think both Eddie and Venom will have no reason to battle Spider-Man. That's unless Spider-Man is framed as a murderer after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home. That would certainly breed a bit of conflict between Venom and Spider-Man, as Eddie would want to go after him. Although there is a theory about the possibility of a Venom and Spider-Man team-up, and I feel that seems far more plausible.
I know, right?
Maybe a new symbiote like Toxin could show up in the future. Spidey and Venom regularly team up in the comics to take down Carnage. We may see a similar plot take place in Venom 3, but with Toxin or some other symbiote instead. But this is just speculation for now. That's not what we're here to talk about. Instead, we're here to talk about Venom's appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You see, ever since the No Way Home trailer, fans have been excited. The entirety of the fandom was sent into a frenzy over the trailer. Not only because of the appearances of old villains from the previous Sony franchises, but also because of the mixing of multiverses between Sony and Marvel. As soon as Dr. Octopus appeared in the trailer, the possibilities of a Sony-Marvel crossover skyrocketed. This crossover is what fans have been waiting for. 1, because it allows for the creation of the Sinister Six, which does seem to be the case here. And 2, because now the current properties of both companies are free to interact. In fact, it has already been reported that Sony is developing an Avengers-like crossover project with the Sinister Six and Spider-Man. So let's cue in all the theories of Venom appearing in No Way Home. Fans of the MCU and SPUMC got pretty excited over the collective possibilities. Immediately after the trailer, we saw a slew of speculation by the fandom. Some claimed that Venom would form part of the Sinister Six. Others swore by the fact that Venom could be an ally to Spider-Man in No Way Home. All of this speculation came after the fandom had already convinced itself that the movie will have more than just a single Spider-Man. As of now, it has not been confirmed that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will be in the movie. However, at this point, it is one of the worst kept Marvel secrets. Given that we are able to see villains from all the franchises come in for Spider-Man, it makes sense that a lot of these heroes from old franchises will also come back to aid Holland's Spidey. A superhero team versus a supervillain team seems to be what Marvel is planning.
I'm touching myself tonight.
The only real question is whether Venom will be a part of the action. Reliable analysis of the current facts and news suggests that he won't be, no matter how much we love the Black hulking oaf.
You are a loser.
His presence in No Way Home at this point will only hinder from the movie's main plot. If Venom were to show up in the movie, he would surely hype the fans. However, this type will offset Spidey's screen presence. Not to mention there are already going to be 3 Spider-Men in the movie, and they'll appear with a slew of old villains who are sure to have more to do than just look menacing. We still don't know what's happening in the multiverse and why things are collapsing. All Doctor Strange tried to do in the trailer was a simple hypnosis spell, but reality unraveled and it seemed like something unprecedented will happen. We believe that this is due to something that neither Strange nor Spidey is aware of. The issue in No Way Home would be to cover so many plot lines effectively. More likely than not, Marvel will stick to their tight storytelling format. This means that all these new inductions into the MCU will just have enough screen time. And probably will be created if Venom is also included in the story. Not only will the writers have to give the character his own story arc, but they would also tie the cameo into the SPUMC. It would simply be more trouble than it is worth. If we're going to see a Spider-Man and Venom team up, then it makes sense to have that as the center of the plot. The studio knows that it is far better to explore the dynamic between this duo in a standalone movie, rather than pushing Venom into a movie about the multiverse and other Spider-Man villains. Fans would know that Spidey should appear in his movie instead. Marvel's contract with Sony would end after the release of No Way Home and one more MCU crossover with Spidey. If Marvel wants to keep making Spider-Man movies, they would have to renegotiate. This means that Sony has no incentive for lending the Venom property to Marvel. They could just wait for the contract to expire and make Spider-Man appear in Venom 3. You see, the arc of Venom is only complete when he bonds with Spider-Man and returns to Eddie Brock. The bonding process allows the symbiote to replicate the powers of the host. The symbiote then uses its newfound powers to enhance the strength of Eddie. The current version of Venom from SPUMC is scary enough, but if we also give him the powers and prowess of Spider-Man, then he will be unstoppable. Again, this is a storyline that needs its own movie. It won't do justice to the storyline to simply include it in the current meta of the franchise. There will be no place to introduce the character, much less show its struggle in choosing a side. This would make Venom a novelty rather than a cohesive part of the story. Sadly, this is not the way Marvel does things. The studios must have planned a reunion between these two heroes. But we do not think this is it. Kevin Feige has stated that Spidey will be the first MCU character to jump to a different universe.
Just say that.
So I believe that another setup for it will come at the very end of No Way Home. And yes, Venom is a hero. Well, maybe not completely with his character motivations, but in the sense that he is the protagonist for the stories in which he features. With the inclusion of Trinity of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Matt Murdock, and the rumors of Miles Morales, there is simply no space for another protagonist.
You're absolutely right.
Any more inclusion will make the property overcrowded, something that Marvel is not a fan of. This is the reason we believe that it is highly unlikely that Venom will appear in No Way Home. What do you think about our analysis? Does it make sense? Or does it feel like we are shooting blanks? We do admit that the rumors surrounding Venom's MCU appearances were enticing, but sadly, it is our job to base ourselves in reality. What do you think about the whole situation? Let us know in the comment section. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Sayonara!